Welcome back to STN. All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to our Teacher Talk, March 15th. I think Omar and I are just coming off, and Paul, we're just coming off the excitement of convention, right? Just does it still have adrenaline in me?
Awesome experience.
A lot of adrenaline.
Yeah, that was my kid's first time going in person, and we were just super excited about it, and we were really pumped, learned a lot about each other, I think more than production. That's what I keep saying. But yeah, so we're here today to talk about setting up for next year. And the best way to do that is to start thinking about what we can do during the summer. And Omar runs an amazing summer camp experience, both in a camp form and then also kind of a bi-weekly meeting session. So we're going to kind of unpack that with him. And if you all have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. So Omar, so tell us a little bit about what happens after your kids graduate, your studio clears, maybe have a margarita or two, and then what?
So the three things that I do in the summer to keep CCNN Live rolling. The first thing is we start concentrating on our ads for the following year. So I give them a due date of July 1st, and I tell them the way I guess our season runs, right, is the STN convention is always the last thing we do as a team, right, for the year. And then we have our state convention, but I only let my freshmen and sophomores compete in the state convention. So as soon as STN is over, my seniors go from producing content to just mentoring. That's all they do. They get the freshmen and sophomores, and whenever the freshmen and sophomores go out and do a news story or a package or a PSA, they have to get a junior and senior to mentor them, right? So that they already started feeling empowered, and they feel like it's their club now. And when we go to the state convention, the juniors and seniors will be their mentors. They'll be the ones that are like, look, this is what I expect you to do. And it's all on them. So I kind of can breathe after STN always. It was nice that it was in February this year, so I got some more time. But the seniors and juniors really take over. And then the freshmen really start, the freshmen and sophomores really start taking over and owning the club. So what I do is I tell them July 1st, and when we finish STN, your ads are due. Now, if you're a new program, right, what I suggest is keep the requirement for your ads low, like maybe $200-300 per student, right? They have to sell $200-300 worth of ads. I'm more established, or my number's a little bit higher than that. But I tell them if your ads are not in by July 1st, you automatically forfeit your opportunity of being on the STN team for the following year. And that works wonders, because they all want to be part of the STN team. They all want to go to travel wherever STN is going to be at. So I use that as a tool. And that also gets us some money in. So in the summer, I do a reevaluation of the equipment. I check what's already been worn and torn and not useful anymore. Maybe I'll donate it. Maybe, I'll try to resell it. And then I'll purchase whatever we need for the year. And then that way we start the year off from day one with all of our equipment. So ads is really important. If you guys want to get my ad sheet, just email me at ccnnlive@columbushs.com, and I'll gladly share it with you. I used to be like a PDF, and now it's a Google form where people just fill out the form, and I have examples of ads that we sell. And I get this money in, and it really helps to start the year off without worrying about, oh man, how am I going to raise money for STN and for equipment and all that stuff. Usually my ads go to equipment, and then my fundraiser goes for STN. That's the way I run the program. The second thing that I do, and it's also a fundraiser, is I have a summer camp. My summer camp is usually the first 2 weeks as soon as school's over. So this year it's running from June 13th to, I believe, June 24th. My partner and I, we run it. We offer classes. So we offer on-air talent work, anchoring, production, how to do live production, graphics and editing. We teach them fundamentals of writing and storyboarding, how to use DSLRs the right way. And this year we're offering the fundamentals of audio and podcasting. It's like we run it with like 30 or 45 minute schedules, and everything just, it's a class schedule called, we only run it from 8 to 12 noon. I think we're going to have a pretty good turnout this year. So it is a huge advantage for 2 ways, because it's 6th, 7th, and 8th grade boys and girls. And I have meetings with since we are a private school, you have to get accepted into Columbus. And once you're accepted, like I'm having my incoming freshman meeting next Wednesday, and I tell the boys, because we're not boys school, this is what is expected of you by next year. You have to be a part of my summer camp. So it's like a boot camp for my incoming freshmen. I've never really done that. If they're not coming from a TV program, they have 2 weeks, thrown in the in the mix, and they learn all the fundamentals they need to learn. And then also, a bunch of girls come up to our camp, so a lot of the schools around us, they really benefit from that as well, which is great. Because like I tell everybody, iron sharpens iron. But that summer camp, not only does it help my incoming freshmen, but my sophomores, juniors, and my next year seniors, they're working the camp for free because they're getting their service hours done. So they don't have to worry about getting their service hours done because they knock it out in those 2 weeks. They get like 50 hours, So by the time, if they do it for 3 years, all their hours requirements to graduate are done. And they're also refreshing the fundamentals because they're being counselors, but they're also listening to the counselors teach. So that's always a good refresher every summer. And when summer camp is over, what's great for me is it's kind of like a farm system, right? So all the boys that are really good, like I'm like nurturing them, encouraging them. So by the time they're freshmen at Columbus, I don't have a kid that I have to teach everything from scratch. I have a kid that knows how to edit, knows how to do graphic design, knows how to do camera work, knows how to write. They're not great at it because they've only been doing it 2 weeks, but it's better than working with some kid that has no experience whatsoever. So that really helps my program out big time, having the summer camp. The last thing that I do, and this is kind of just because I think I'm a little bit crazy when it comes to this kind of stuff, but as soon as summer camp's over, every Tuesday, I volunteer. Like I don't get paid for this. It's part of I consider it part of my stipend to run TV production at Columbus. But I go to school from 8 to 2 p.m. And Zach will tell you because he visited me last year during one of these practices. And it's a school day, but all it is TV production work. And what I do is when my juniors and seniors, when they walk in at 8 o'clock in the morning, I'll have on the board a prompt. And one day it's a PSA, the next day it's a net package, the next week it's a on the spot feature, and whatever the prompt is. But they have from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. to go out somewhere in Miami, find a story, shoot it, edit it, and have it done by 2 p.m. Those are what my juniors and seniors do. My freshmen and sophomores, I really get in depth with editing. My partner will go in depth with writing and the ethics of journalism. The next week we'll teach them, it will just be me. Like it won't be a counselor. It will be me and my partner, Christy, hands-on with our freshmen and sophomores. And I mean, it's 8 practices, but it's 8 practices and it's not really 8 practices because obviously kids go on vacation, kids, they're always trying to do, I can't go today. I'm have a tournament, I'm playing the sport. But for the kids that do make it to 5 of them, 6 of them, it's night and day. By the time the kid that I had in the beginning of the summer to the kid that I had at the end of the summer, it is a huge improvement of what the type of student I have and the type of TV production kid that I have when I start the school year off. And also what's amazing and what I love is as well is that my juniors and seniors, some of these stories that they're doing, right, they end up being the stuff that we submit for fall nationals because it's something they did over the summer. It's something that they worked on, and sometimes they don't get it. They don't perfect it by the end of our 8-hour practice. But I'll tell them this needs to be fixed, and they'll go out and they'll fix all the things that I told them to do. And by the next week, they'll bring it back, and it's super clean. So it's a good way to start the year off, knowing that we have these kind of content, these stories to tell for our daily show, for our monthly shows that we did all throughout the summer. So those are the 3 things that really have impacted CCNN, has made us consistent as a program every year in and out. And like I said, it's a choice that every teacher has to make, right? Because I've heard it before. I've heard a lot of teachers say, man, I want to have a program like this. And then they hear all the stuff that I do. And they're like, you're crazy. I'm not doing that, I think that's why Zach and I got along so great. Because the first day I told him all this and his response was, I love it. I love it. I want all the smoke. Yes. Tell me everything you're doing. And and within 2 or 3 years, Zach became a nationally known school, which is great. But yeah, if anybody needs any help, if anyone wants my blueprint, just feel free to reach out at ccnnlive@columbus.hs.com. I'll gladly, I'll set up a phone call because I'm not one to email back and forth. I'd rather just talk to people. and I'll tell you, this is what I do. This is how you do it. This is how you can build a program up. But it requires a lot of self-sacrifice. You have to have a very understanding spouse or partner because my wife, when I tell her in the summer, I actually got great news today. This is personal. My wife, her teacher found out that I was the moderator for CCN Live, and they offered my job, her the TV production job at her middle school. So now my wife gets to go with me to STN every year, which is awesome. So I'm not a week away from my family. She gets to come with me. But yeah, that's what I do. It's pretty much
Well, you know what, Omar, I think just one thing about your meetings is I see it as a lot more than just working on production. I mean, they're getting to gel together, they're getting to
oh yeah,
trust each other, right? And I think that was big for us for going to STN this year was I think we did not have that part in sync. They didn't trust each other fully. They didn't, fully understand like kind of on the same terms what everybody was doing. And I think starting in the summer really is going to help. And you got to think about it like a sport. I mean, if we
yep.
were just a regular old class, we wouldn't be meeting here at Tuesday, at 8 o'clock at night or whatever time you're in. I mean, it's a commitment that we make.
Absolutely.
And I think the kids come back tenfold, and who do they come and visit first, right?
Yep.
So they know who's impacted them, and they know that the value they get out of this program. And I think it's really cool too. Just I'll vouch for him as well. I mean, to see the energy in his kids, and halfway through the summer coming into school, right, was incredible. I mean, to see them coming in and getting ready to work and planning and getting all their stuff in sync. I mean, it really does set you up for the fall. So like Omar said, you're not actually training fundamentals come August. You've gotten that all out of the way.
You hit the ground running.
Talk to us a little bit about, if I could. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's great what you said. It's like a sport. I mean, I was at one point an athlete. No longer do I consider myself an athlete, nowhere near it. But at one point in my life, I was an athlete, and I remember giving up my summers, not going on vacations because I was in the basketball court, running sprints just to stay healthy. I kind of brought that mentality into TV production. I just told people, we might not be the best, but we're gonna work like we are. We're gonna work harder than anyone else can possibly work. And I'm not expecting perfection, but we're gonna strive every week to get there. So it's funny because one of our midway point, my midway like checkpoint for all the kids is on the 4th of July. I make them find a fireworks display, and I tell them, do me a story on this event in Miami. And my kids are all around Miami on the 4th of July with their cameras shooting fireworks, trying to find the right exposure to shoot fireworks, because that's really difficult to do with the DSLR. And they're learning all these valuable skills. And the parents are like, how do you get my kid to work on the 4th of July when I can't get him to clean his room? I'm like, I dangle that carrot of STN at the end of the year and say, we're going to go to this amazing trip, and it's going to be so much fun, and we're going to bond, and we're going to have a family dinner, and you're going to meet kids from all around the country. And that carrot it's worth its weight in gold. I think that's why I fought so much to have convention again, because I was like, if another year goes by and I can't do that, I don't know what would have happened. But sorry to interrupt you, Zach. You were going to say something.
Oh, you're good. I was going back to your ads. So if a teacher wants to launch that, obviously it takes a lot of community partnerships to make that even possible. So as let's envision you've got a freshman coming in trying to figure out what's his first step to go out and get an ad sold. Obviously you have your ad sheet, but talk to us through that education process that you give.
I teach them what the ad sheet is, right? So there's different tiers, right? So there's a 9-week ad, and a 9-week ad means, which is pretty much a quarter, right? Once a week throughout the whole quarter, we will air your advertisement on CCN Live and on the Voyage. We'll put it on the Voyage for the 2.5 months of the quarter. So those are the kind of ads we get for that are like tuxedo rentals, limousines, and they always ask to be put either on the second quarter with homecoming or in the fourth quarter for prom. We attack those kind of areas. Sometimes it's a parent that's just like, oh, I have a dentist office and this is the cheapest option, so I'm only getting 9-week ads. So that works as well. The second year is a full year ad, which is we'll air your commercial twice a month for the whole year on our daily show, and we'll air it on our monthly show, which is the Voyage as well. And that's there's two ways of upselling this. So they can just give us an ad that they already have made, because some people have ads already made, and we'll use them. If they want us to just make something for them, we make them a 15-second PowerPoint presentation slideshow, right? and we'll tell them, look, we'll just air this with some music, some text, and your logo, and then that's what we'll do. Or if they pay us an additional $400, we'll go and produce that commercial for you. And for if you think about it, for $700, you're gonna get an ad aired to a captive audience of 2,000 people, right, in our school, and a commercial that you can use for social media, for your own website, for whatever. That's a pretty good deal, I think, for a whole year. So a lot of times in the summer, those Tuesdays when they come in practice, I'm like, it's commercial day. Here's your prompt. We got to go film these commercials. And I just give them the commercials and they go out and they film it and they come back. So
Well,
that's, go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's big with those commercials and with the local community, because you would think originally as a teacher, when I first heard that, I was like, who's gonna pay that much, right? That much for us to produce ads for them. But you go and talk to them, and the industry charges, I couldn't even give you the multiplier on it.
Yeah.
Right. It's like, and so it's a twofold thing for the business. They're getting an ad and it's airing, right? But I think the other thing is they're actually supporting a school, which some of these local businesses want to be able to say, I support this local school, because they'll be on a sign at the football field or whatever, and they always try to find ways to help, and they can write it off,
Absolutely. So I'm going to get back to the type of businesses you should attack, but my next level is we live stream all of our sporting events, right? So whether you do this on YouTube or you're a part of something like NFHS or something like that, we sell advertisement for just the sporting events. And the people that we get for that are like golf shops, lawyers. Sometimes it's an alum that has like a cool business, like a butcher or something like that. Those, because they know the audience we're going to get there is a little bit older. It's parents, it's grandparents, it's other schools watching us to scout us through the web, stuff like that. So it's valuable to them, and especially our football program. It really helps if you have a good sports program. Columbus has a great football team, and we usually make it far in the playoffs. And our viewerships last year, we were getting about 300 views per game, but in the playoffs, I was getting like 2,000 views per game because everybody was watching us at that point. And that's a lot of eyes to see these commercials, and those commercials air like 8 times in one game because it's not a lot, it's just on repeat. So it's a really, really good value for that. The kind of commercials, the kind of people you want to attack and tell your kids to attack, tell them to stay away from Starbucks and McDonald's, because corporations are never going to allow you. They're going to be like, no, that's a corporate thing. We can't. You want mom and pop shops. You want pizza parlors. You want dentist office. You want lawn services, stuff like that. Those are the kind of people you want to attack because they're the people that are locally owned, local businesses. It's very easy to get them to say yes. And a little trick of the trade, once you do this for a while, right? When your seniors graduate, you give a list of all the seniors' former ads and you post it to the freshmen. And you say, these people have already advertised for us. First come, first serve. And my freshmen, when the ones that get it, they're like, wait a minute, I don't have to go find anything. I just call this person and renew it. Perfect. And then that kid will hold that ad for the next 4 years. Like we have a local bowling alley called Bird Bowl. Like it's literally 2 minutes from our school. And they've been advertising with us for 10 years. And the lady always calls me every 4 years. She's like, so I'm working with Enrique now, or I'm working with Matt, every 4 years, because they just pass it along because they know it's a guaranteed yes. And that's it's a good way to keep that going. You don't want to always have, I started a new advertisement tier last year. And I never thought I was going to do this. I never thought I was going to get a yes from this, but you have no idea. I said, title sponsorship for all sporting events, right? So for football, basketball, and baseball, which are the big 3 that we advertise, and then our automatic system does lacrosse, soccer, all the other sports, right? You are the title sponsor. So whenever we go to break, we'll be like, and this is brought to you by Baptist Health or Norwegian Cruise Line. And I got Baptist Health, which is a huge hospital down here in South Florida. They paid $3,000 to be the title sponsor of all events. Right. And this year it got so big that Norwegian Cruise Line was like, well, we'll share with Baptist. And I was like, I can't share it with Baptist. And then the CEO of Norwegian Cruise Line called the CEO, or not the CEO, but the person in charge of advertising for Baptist. And they're like, hey, do you mind sharing it? So we got $6,000 and we had 2 title sponsors for all of our events all year long. But that also requires you to make sure you have a live stream of all your sporting events, and that's every Friday for football. And then for basketball, it becomes really tedious because that's in the middle of the year, and usually basketball games are 2-3 times. So it's a lot, but it's a good revenue stream that lets you travel. Like, I know we're a private school, and people have their misconceptions, but Columbus, number one, is a very moderately priced private school, so it's a lot of middle class kids. And my school gives me no money for my program. I literally fundraise all my money every single year from scratch. So, and that helps out a lot. The live streaming, the ads, stuff like that. So,
Ask a question.
yes.
Do you know of any public schools that are doing what you're doing?
Yes, I know public schools and I know charter schools that both sell ads for their shows. Cooper City does it. Major Stillman Douglas does it. Cypress Bay does it. Doral Academy down here does it. Miami Art Studios, which is a magnet school, does it. So, yeah, there's a lot of.
And there are several up in Georgia as well. And the way they funnel that as a private school is they go through a booster club through their athletics department. And your athletic department already has one set up. And so normally they will either add like a little arm to that for your program. And then you run all your advertisement money through that instead of the school or district finance office, because that'll keep you free and clear and give you a chance to spend that and also raise it.
So is that how you're doing it, Omar? Or is it through a booster club?
I'm not doing it through a booster club since we're a private school. I just do it straight from my accounting office, but the other public schools, they do it through their boosters. And they run their fundraising through the boosters. So it has nothing, like the district can't tell them anything, because at the end of the day, they're like, no, you can't do that. They're like, you can't stop someone fundraising for my club. And it's under a private entity, stuff like that. So that's
So is like, because I'm trying to like see, I mean, my situation, trying to get around all the people being very afraid of everything.
Right.
So, I mean, like I'm thinking, I'm trying to get some parents to start a booster club, because I don't think I can run what I'm doing through the athletic department. You know what I mean? I think I would have to set up my own booster club, which I of course can't do as a teacher, but I can get parents to do it.
Do y'all do anything with athletics at all? Like any streaming or any of that?
Well, the situation is that I'm now an academy, and the academy is at a separate building from the 3 high schools, but the three high schools feed that one. So they don't want you to have clubs, because that competes with the other 3 high schools clubs. They don't have any sports exclusively through this academy school. It's called Emerald Campus, because all the 3 high schools have their own sports, right? And the NFHS is all been set up with each high school, and each high school's getting the money from their viewership. So there's no tapping into that. So I'd have to like set up my own booster club, I think. I don't know. Has anyone tried to do that? Like the theater department has a booster club. So I'm thinking, okay, digital media, can it have a booster club?
Yeah, that might be something definitely to check out. You said the theater department has a booster club?
Right.
Yeah, I would go directly to that theater teacher and figure out how they did it. And I would also, if you have a good relationship with your athletic director, it might be a great conversation to have, just because it's already set up, and it might be an easy way to tag along and make it easy for accounting. But yeah, I would definitely reach out to that theater teacher and see, because that's the only way I know my public school teacher friends actually get the fundraising done, is they go through a booster club.
Okay.
Looks like Omar dropped off. He's probably going to come back on in just a second. But anybody else have any questions for us right now about getting ready for the summer? What do y'all have any plans right now to even meet with your students potentially?
Yeah. Am I unmuted again?
Yes, sir. You're good to go.
Yeah. So it's funny listening to Omar. We're a much younger program than you guys. We're in our 6th year, and we just got the district to approve us of doing a boot camp the week before we come back to school. We did it on the fly this year as we went into basketball season. Just kept the kids, in between football season and basketball season, we kept our kids for a week after school just to go over all the basics of setting up and production. Made a huge difference in our basketball production, and the district we think they're signing off and letting us do it the week before we get back so we can be roll into football and soccer season. But I can just speak to what Omar just said. It makes a huge difference having that unstructured time or structured unstructured time to really train them and not have to worry about a 40-minute bell schedule.
Well, it's huge, right? Because I mean, I know y'all deal with it too. You've got kids that want to stay with you all day, right? And they want to work on their project, and all that. And so to have that uninterrupted time, like you just said, not having to like switch and get out of the class at the bell, is huge. Because that's one thing I talked to my kids at the convention about, because I even saw some of the ones that haven't been engaged as much all year just really light up at convention. And I was talking to them, I was like, what's the deal? Where's this coming from? And they were like, well, I get to actually focus all on ENN and all on what we're doing instead of having to deal with the 7 other classes that I'm doing and the clubs and the meetings and the honor society stuff. And like, their schedule is busier than mine, in some cases, right? Omar's letting me know his internet is acting up, so he's trying to get back on here, but actually here he is right here.
Can I ask a bit of a, I guess it's a little off topic on the idea of getting ready for next year.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just so for this, we were able to participate this year in the convention, virtually. So we, our kids were so excited, in the room. It was a great experience for us to have everyone together for the 3 days. I'm just curious, there was such a letdown afterwards that, we were excited, but we felt like we came, even though we never left, we came back to school. It was in the middle of our February break. And I don't know, do you find that your schools don't realize what STN is?
Yeah.
We felt like we had to explain to everyone what we did and what was so impressive about it. And just, I don't know, I'm just curious.
I tell everybody at our school that we more respect outside of the hall.
Yeah, Omar's looks like he's breaking up a little bit there.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I think what he's saying is true with us too. I mean, I'll tell my principal, that we got an honorable mention or we did this, and it's the same reaction if we got an honorable mention, didn't get one, that we just made it back in one piece, so first thing I do is I write a press release about it, and I put in those pictures, some of the stuff from the convention, and I will send it to our local news stations and newspapers and magazines. And we also have a public relations arm of our school, and I'm sure every district has one as well. And you just funnel it through there, and you title it your school's name. And then, even if you didn't place anything, so-and-so school competed in a national competition. I mean, that's huge, right? And being able to say that really kind of gets people's attention. And then one thing to kind of address the kids, I guess, morale, you said they kind of we went back down after STN, or what do you?
Yeah, well, I wouldn't say that our kids were still excited. It wasn't so much the kids. It was that, for us, I did pretty much exactly what you did. I sent something off to our district PR person. We're in the New York media market, so it's really difficult to get anyone to pay attention to us. But I tried to explain to our principal and our superintendent that we won the Broadcast Excellence Awards, which we were super excited. It was, we viewed it as like we tried to explain it. It's almost like winning a national championship, and same as just exactly like you said. They're like, oh, that's great, that's fantastic, and now go get the morning announcements up. It was just this hollow kind of feeling that we all knew what we did, but it felt like no one else did.
Absolutely. Paul, do you have something?
I was just going to add on to for Stu. One of the things that I did when I got back was I sent a letter off to the superintendent, to our CTE coordinator, and to our school board. And matter of fact, tomorrow night, we're being recognized by the school board, every school in our district who attended. And I made sure to include everyone who attended was in this email. We're going to the school board meeting tomorrow, and we're being recognized by them. So the more you can get yourself in front of the school board or in front of your district officials, it'll trickle down, because it trickles down to, if they're excited, your principal gets excited, the school gets excited. So try that route too. Try to make sure that everyone in the district knows what you did.
Yeah, and then I'll another thing with that, with letting the school board know, and then also again just your local school, right? So you can send out that all teacher email, and I will paste the roster of the kids that went and just say, hey, if you see these guys in the hallway, like let them know congratulations, and like those teachers will read them, and they'll be like, oh, I teach that kid, I teach that, you know. And so you get some sort of school morale, and it's good to recognize your program and to push PR out, but at some point it's like, you're right. I mean, we're kind of viewed as like this club or a connection or a specials class, right? And so we're not the football team winning a championship that then ends up bringing a bunch of money to the school, right? So at some point, I reel back from that, and I just focus in on the school culture. And what it does is it gets kids excited about coming back to the program. And
I'll watch it on the video afterwards. Their answers. I'm trying to get it back. Sorry about that.
oh no, you're good. No worries. And the last thing I would probably say is have one of your kids make a recap video. If y'all took any BTS footage in your classroom, one of my guys just produced our recap video, and it's really exciting. It's like upbeat and it's fast paced, and we're going to be playing that as a cold open to our show airing this week, and it's going to be big. And so the kids are going to see that, they're going to watch it. And I've got kids coming from all walks of life in the hallways and stuff, asking me how can they join ENN? How can they do it? Because when you start going to places and you start competing in things, I mean, people want to be involved in that. And I think that's ultimately the biggest payoff for me is it's nice when the paper or somebody local recognizes you, but when your school community, that internal one, really works hard to promote yourself and your program, and then you see the kids come back and they want to join and they want to spread the word, and that's always worked out for me as well.
Zach, can I add one more thing?
Yes, sir.
One of the things that I started doing, because I had the same problem years ago, where it was you came back and like, oh, nice, and that was it. When you go to STN, I started bringing other teachers as chaperones. And it is amazing how I don't have to say a word. They're the ones spreading the excitement, and they're, getting everyone else excited about what we accomplished. So think about as chaperones, bringing other people from your school, because they will see that excitement. They'll see the enthusiasm, how much everyone enjoyed themselves through the convention, and will help you to build the momentum at your school.
Do you have any idea when the convention will be for next year? I mean, that was great that you guys had it over that holiday weekend, because that's, you don't miss much school.
It's March
13th.
Is it 13th or 15th? Something like that.
Oh, okay. So it's not over that holiday weekend this time.
It's
Yeah,
March
we're doing it.
16th this year. Sorry, my internet went off, but yeah, it's March 16th.
March 16th. Yeah, it's normally in March. It was just earlier for this, I think, just for COVID and stuff. We decided that would be the best, but yeah, it's normally in March. But yeah, we're excited for it. We're ready to go back. My kids are already asking me, can we go back? Let's do it. They're ready to rock and roll. And I'll tell you, just for those that competed virtually, and I know that there are restrictions everywhere, but you got to find a way somehow, at least if you can get, even if it's a few of your students to go, it's big. The energy they come back with, you can't ever teach that. You can't bottle it up. You just have to go and you have to experience it. And even if you can't get students to go, turn in for some PD time and say, I got to go out there and network. Because I mean, that was a big thing too. Omar and I met a lot of people. We got to share ideas and talk about stuff. And I mean, when do you ever get an uninterrupted time to like focus on getting better and working on your craft? So that was a big part of it for me as well.
Will it be in California again?
Yes, Long Beach, same location.
Okay.
Yes, and it's a really easy drive from LA. So you just land right in LAX, and then you can get bussed down. And World Strides, if this is your first time going, they're the we call them our travel partner, right, Paul? They're the travel agency that works with STN to handle all those logistics for you. And they actually are the ones that will handle the finances as well. So you can speak with them and they'll build a whole package for you. And then your parents will just pay them directly. You don't have to deal with your finance office. And Gwen, who's the person running it, she's amazing. And you couldn't get the same prices because she does like the transit buses to and from the airport and stuff. And those are expensive. And so you split those costs among other schools because they're busing a lot of schools in. And so that's something to think about as well. So you can take all those logistics off your plate, at least for the first couple of years, and just focus on being there.
And again, my district's so risk aversion. Do you have any, I mean, really wanted to do the SNAP raise, but they won't let us. Any other ideas for fundraising? I mean, the ads, we aren't doing a live broadcast, so I don't really have anything.
Can you set up a booster? Can you set up a booster and run a SNAP race through your booster?
That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm getting pushback on that too, but I'm going to try.
Yeah,
I mean, technically, if you want to get technical about it, no matter what state you're at, no matter what school you're in, if you have a parent willing to set up a non-for-profit, right, and saying we're going to donate this to the school, but specifically for that program, no one can stop that. Nobody can stop that. Nobody can stop someone from donating their money.
Right. You mean like in terms of, wait, are you talking about like doing the SNAP raise or?
Yeah, running the SNAP raise, running whatever kind of fundraiser you want. If you have a parent that you trust that could set up a non-for-profit, right? Your name is not on it. It's a parent, it's an outside source. They pass it, your head parent from year to year. They run the SNAP raise to that program. They collect all the money, and then they go to the school and they're like, "Here's a check. It's directly for that program. That's the only program that can use it. Here we go." And that's just a donation. I mean, no government entity in America can stop a donation from going on for private school.
Yeah, it's illegal to misuse those funds. So that's misappropriation. So as long as the check memo is written out to the program, it's a legal document.
Yep.
I'll give it another shot.
Yep.
You got to keep fighting because that's, sometimes we're educating the administration more than we are our students.
I remember when I started and I went to my administration and our president of the school, and I said, I want to start setting ads. He was like, "No, you can't." I go, "How come the newspaper can sell ads? How can the yearbook sell ads, but I can't sell ads?" And I had him there. He goes, "All right, you can sell ads, but you cannot ever ask anybody that donates money to the school to sell ads." I'm like, "Great. Frankie's Pizza down the street doesn't donate anything to the school, so I'll just ask them for an ad." And we started that way. And now he's like, "Hey, you're selling ads because a big alumni wants to get an ad, so he's gonna pay the school $10,000 and I'll give you your 1,000. But and then it ended up being, when they see the benefit of it, then the problem becomes, how do I not become a marketing department for the school, and how do I keep it a journalism department? That's the problem when you become successful. What you gotta how you balance that.
Yeah, and I'll just tell you, I'm dealing with that right now at Riverside. So that all happened when we renegotiated my contract this year, and I used to get a stipend to do like the special events and stuff and produce those. I told him to take it out. I said, "Take that out of my contract, and I'm going hourly, and everything has to be like, I'll track all my hours." And so when they started seeing that and my hourly rate, they started crossing stuff off my list. They're like, "No, we don't need to do this. We don't got to do this. You don't got to do that." And then now, we had this our big dance. We call it the military ball. I'm normally always at it doing stuff. Nope. they don't want it because it's
cost.
Yeah, to them they're like, "Oh, he's just doing it for free," and that's great for us. But we have to. You got to draw a line somewhere, and that was big for me this year, especially.
Yep.
Hey, Stu, I'm going to mute you. I think your phone was on unmute, getting there. Any other questions we've got? We're got about 15 minutes left. We're here to hang out and talk to y'all and see, what else is going on for the summer. Is anybody getting ready for the beach or something? I know I want to go down to Miami and visit Omar again and maybe have some of those treats.
Nobody in Miami visits South Beach. Just so you know that. No. Nobody in Miami goes down to South Beach at all.
I know
that is a tourist trap.
Well, I know I want another croqueta from Little Havana. That's what I want. That's what I want.
You got it, man. You got it. We got to get Paul down here so he can check it out as well.
That's
I was
right.
saying, let me know when you're going. I'm traveling this summer and I've got a couple of trips set up and
Okay.
I could always, segue down there. So
Yeah, man. I got
Well-
Ben Barnhold from Whitney is taking his RV across the country to come visit me down here. I love it. I love it. You're all welcome. You just give me some heads up and you're all welcome down here. But we're not gonna go to South Beach. That's run by Russians. It's not even Cuban anymore. That is a tourist trap. Everybody that wants to go down the beach goes down to the Keys, or they go up to Fort Lauderdale from Miami, or they go to the West Coast. The West Coast is beautiful, Florida, Naples, and all that stuff. It's great.
Awesome. Well, if anybody doesn't have any other questions, we'll hang out here for a few minutes, but you're welcome to hop off, and we're just going to talk about where to get that next espresso shot, the Cuban coffee. That's what I'm looking for.
It's Cuban crack.
Oh man, I'll tell you what, I had one sip of that and I felt like I was going to be awake for a month, and I was just like, this is all the energy I needed right here. I was,
Yep.
and it was delicious. It was
And
the
it's funny.
Cuban
And
coffee.
4-year-olds drink that like it's nothing around here. Like that's just normal. Like, yeah. I grew up. How about this? I can drink a coffee, a Cuban coffee, and nothing will happen to me. But if you give me a sip of American coffee, I'll get a migraine. That's how used to my body is to that type of caffeine. It's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
weren't you supposed to bring some of that to convention this year?
I totally forgot. You're absolutely right. I'm gonna bring my cafecito next year, and I'm gonna make it and just hand it out in the mornings.
Hey, I'll be first in line for that, because those are some early mornings. Even though it kind of felt the first day, it felt like I was sleeping in forever, but that quickly wore off when we were staying up late.
Yeah.
Getting ready the next day.
Yep. I think I got my internet back.
Yeah, I was
Thank
about to
God.
say, I was like, are we talking to the real Omar here, or there's another one
No,
coming?
I know. I'm on my phone. My whole internet dropped in my house. I couldn't believe it.
Recording in progress.
And now we get the feedback.
Yes.
So I thought I heard Omar talking about contests at the beginning. Do you do contests during your camp as well?
Yes. So we teach Monday through Thursday, right? And whatever we like. So on Friday is of the first week, we set up, because it's kids and they can't really leave the building. So we'll set up a fake crime scene, in like a classroom, and we'll get the tape and we'll have actors come in there and stuff like that. And the kids have to like do a news story, or we'll have a press conference, and the counselors dress up and the kids will film it, and they'll film the B footage and they'll interview people, and they'll do a little story out of that. And at this end of the second week, which I think is a great way to accumulate everything, because they've already learned graphics, they've already learned script writing, they learned storyboarding, they learn how to shoot. We have them do a commentary, right? So that a commentary really brings all that stuff together in one shot. So they'll have to write their script up. They'll get cool shots. I use graphics to show whatever the topic is that I give them, and they have a commentary do it, and that's all pretty much Friday. So it starts at 8 in the morning and it finishes at 12 noon. So I'll have sixth graders creating content within 4 hours, which is amazing.
But I guess I'm not quite sure. What do you mean by a commentary? Commentary on this crime scene, or is that a whole separate thing?
No, that's the second week. The commentary, so I'll give them like the first week, it's like we'll get a classroom, we'll mess it up, we'll say like the art supplies were stolen from the art room, and then we'll have a student dressed up as a police officer, and the art teacher dressed up there, and we'll interview them. So that the second week, we'll tell them your commentary prompt is homework, toss it or leave it. And that's the prompt. And they'll have to write a script. They'll have to figure out, all right, is homework something that's necessary? They'll do research on it. They'll write a script up. They'll film the person doing the content. They'll get graphics and they'll make graphs. It's really cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, doing contests with your kids is huge. I mean, if that's all you want to do, at least for like a 1-day camp, if you want to start small. I know to get ready for STN, I brought my students up to North Georgia, Dahlonega, even more north than where we're at now. So it was real cold up there. But we did several contests right up there in that downtown. You just take your kids or tell them to meet you at another location that you're not too familiar with. and then you give them a prompt. You either can do a whole show, do a Crazy Eights practice, or have them do separate segments and go out and try to produce pieces by a certain deadline. And that's huge just for team bonding. And again, that trust that they're going to build with each other. And then you can come back and now you have all these content packages that you can give immediate feedback on, and they get better. And that's how you can really get a huge head start instead of waiting until August when everyone's trying to figure out how to tie their shoes. You're already ready to go.
Yeah, I like the idea of going with the younger kids. I mean, I've done a camp several years where I did it for the kids that were already signed up for my program. And I would bring in bring in a good DP and bring in really good gaffer. And so we would oftentimes what I try to do is get them to start writing the story before the camp starts, and then have the whole, basically more of a narrative, and then work with the DP and the gaffer to help them make it come to life. So it's, a little different approach. But I was thinking this year of hitting up middle school, trying to do something, simpler, something easier, that they could tackle quickly, like you're talking about, and do maybe just a 1-week camp.
Lisa, I'm a middle school teacher, so I have the middle schoolers. One of the things I'm lucky with, and I don't know if anyone else is close enough to do this, but we have our local community access station is right down the street. So we actually, before COVID, we took our kids down there in the afternoons during the summer. We did like kind of what Omar does in the mornings, but then in the afternoons, we took them down to our community access station, and we did a game show down there. And the kids were the hosts, and they were the talent, they were the crew, and our community access station actually aired it every night. And it was really cool for them to see their own production that they did, on television. And so that's another way to really bring, get them involved in teaching them, and it gave them some real life experience.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Yeah, and those middle schoolers, I have one section of middle school, and honestly, they're my favorite class because they are the most excited, they're the most fired up, and they're ready to produce and kind of show the high schoolers what they're made of, because they want to take their spots, the next year. And so it's always a great way to tap into your middle school, and because that kind of like what Omar was saying about starting, you don't start from ground zero, when they
Right.
come freshmen. And it really does make your job easier because you're not having to spend a lot of time reteaching fundamentals. You can actually get into higher levels of thinking and production.
Yeah, it's the recruiting part I'm hoping will help with. We're just, I explained to Omar, we're just struggling a little bit because we went from being in 3 different high schools, and now they combined it to 1, and we're a double block class, plus they have to get there. So it takes 3 periods out of their day. And I just keep getting the same thing over and over from all the kids that I keep trying to recruit. I don't have the space in my schedule. I just can't put it in my schedule. And so I'm trying to work with the admins to say, like, is there any way we can do like 1 period that they're in class, and 1 period we do out of class, where it's more of a field experience thing and they keep track of their hours or something like that.
Yeah, I tell my kids all the time, we're here to teach you how to find creative solutions to complex problems. And I'll tell you, you take 1 student to Long Beach, those kids are going to find room in their schedule. they will move things around. And I know we're just keep talking about Long Beach, but I mean, it's amazing. And that's, I'll tell you, just coming back from STN, I'm getting floods of students wanting to apply for our program, and they'll find a way to get in there if it means something to them, because everybody has room in their schedule. So it's something they have to put value on.
Right, that's true.
Zach, I'm expecting you to bring your middle schoolers next year.
I told them, I was like, I'm bringing y'all next year, but they're all going to be, I teach only 8th grade, so they're all going to be freshmen now. But Yeah, those middle schoolers have to prove themselves. I'll get a new batch. but yeah, I might need a few more chaperones. I think, were you just volunteering to chaperone my middle school team? Because I think I heard you say that just now.
I've got my 20 kids that'll be coming with me next year or so. But we'll merge them together. We'll have them hang out together.
You know, we're hoping to beat out Carlsbad numbers, because I'm done looking at 100 people and sitting in front of me. So even if I have to call Omar and both of our families and friends, and we just got to bring all these people, we're going to beat them out and be louder. That's what's going to have to happen.
I want STN one time before I retire to be in Miami. One time. I want to be able to be the whole school down here, and I want to show everyone a good time, some good Cuban hospitality. I would love that.
Well, Omar, I'll bring an STN flag and you and I can have a whole convention together. I'd love to.
There we go, man. There we go.
I'm hearing 2024. That's what I'm hearing. Right, Paul? I think I heard that in Miami.
Let's go.
I'm not saying a word.
Right. It's a surprise. You only find out here in Teacher Talk where 2024 is going to be. Well, thank you all so much for being with us on a Tuesday. Hopefully you're not too crazy swamped and underwater with the semester. I know I met all kinds of kids these last couple weeks, just trying to work out some discrepancies in the grade book. And it was just so funny to hear all their stories and all the issues that they somehow encountered here right at the end of the quarter. But we always love those, and I save those emails because they do provide some comedic relief in May. But I hope that you all enjoyed this, and we might, I don't know if there's one on the schedule, but we'll probably do an end of the year Teacher Talk, just like a recap and kind of getting ready for next year and kind of a kickoff to the summer. Maybe it'll be a BYOB type of experience for us. So keep a lookout in the emails for that. But thank you all for being here. Thank you for being the best part of STN, and we hope you all have a great rest of your day or evening.
All right. Thank you. Good night.
Thank you so
All right,
much.
guys. Bye, everybody.